In the last lesson, we learned about the risk management plan and how to prepare it. Prior to that, we reviewed the risk management processes. In this lesson, we want to understand how to identify risks. The identify risk work process is fairly straightforward as shown in this diagram. It consists of a series of steps, each designed to uncover potential project risk and document their potential impact. The first step in the process is to check existing resources. During this step, we should review the information available from our organization's history and from previous projects. What risk have projects faced in the past? It's also a good idea to research published information on similar projects in similar industries. What types of risk are typically faced on similar projects in this industry? We should also review the general market conditions to determine if there's anything going on in the general environment that is going to make our project more risky. If there's a recent history of financial difficulties among the supplier community that we will be using, for instance, our risk on the project could increase. Next, we want to review the available project documentation to see if there are any risks that are apparent in the work we've done to date. In the project charter, the project scope statements, the budget or schedule could all contain potential risks. During the process of preparing the estimate, we may have noted some particular areas of uncertainty. This should be added to the list of risk possibilities. Did we note any particular assumptions about how we're going to execute the project? What's the risk that these assumptions are wrong? After we've gathered this available information from established sources, the next step is to gather a group of stakeholders and others with knowledge of the industry to have a facilitated brainstorming session. The goal of this process is to develop a long list of potential risks to the project's success and opportunities for improvement, no matter how remote, and then add them to our database. It is important to make sure that we include people who understand the business case and the market conditions as part of this effort. Many organizations also have a checklist of potential risks that they have accumulated based on their project history and the input of such experts. If such a list is available, we should review this list to see if it generates any additional ideas. In fact, the ideal time to complete this step may be in conjunction with a facilitated brainstorming session to take advantage of the knowledge of the group. At the end of this process, we should review the list and consolidate duplicate or similar items into a single risk description to simplify the process going forward. Lastly, we should interview experts to gain their views on project risks. These experts may include the legal department, human resources department, procurement, and technical experts. They may include other project managers who have experience on similar projects. All of these experts will have added knowledge on the potential risks to our project. The results of this exercise is a long list of potential risks and opportunities of all shapes and sizes. We should record these risks and opportunities in a risk register, similar to the one you see here. I recognize it may be hard for you to see all the details on the screen. However, there's a template available as part of the assignment resources that you can review and use at a later time. There are several important features of the risk register that should be completed at this stage. Every risk recorded should be given a unique tracking number so that we can easily identify it. Each risk should have a good description with enough details or references such that someone outside the meeting will understand its meaning. In some cases, we may also want to note the source of the risk, who identified it, or what was the source. This will allow us to go back to that source if there's some confusion or more information is required. Also, from a stakeholder management perspective, we may want to follow up with the stakeholder later and let them know the disposition of that risk. In most cases, the list will be too long to effectively manage. We will need to find some ways to focus our efforts. The next step in the risk management process is to analyze and prioritize the risks. We will review this process in the next lesson.